Welcome back to my phrasal verb series where I teach you a phrasal verb and then we read it in a story together. Why? So that you understand how to use the phrasal verb in a context. That way, when you use it in real life, you'll know exactly when it's appropriate to use that phrasal verb. It's so hard to just try to memorize phrasal verbs all the time. Trust me on that. And the best way to learn them is to use it in a context that is very relatable to you. So that is why we are going to read this story. Now, the phrasal verb that we're learning today is burst in. Now, burst in has a lot of energy to it. And why? Because burst is very high energy. And just imagine somebody who is running, but they are running like a bolt. And like they are literally bursting with energy and they're just like brrr. So that is kind of what the idea is with the burst. Now, when we say burst in, it's kind of like when you go in a room, but like you are just like bursting in. You are giving so much energy. I like to use the example of when I was a kid, I used to burst in my sister's bedroom all the time with so much energy, and I was like, bam! Hey, do you want to go do something? Let's go build a snowman. Let's go do all these fun things. And I just had so much energy. And so that's kind of the visual you can have when you literally burst through the door really quickly with lots of energy. So how are we going to use that in a story? Well, we have an interesting story about a man named Victor and with some financial crime. So we're going to use burst in this story, and let's see what we got. I almost forgot to mention, in the description down below, you are going to see a list of other vocabulary words. Why? Because the story is a little bit more advanced English, and so there are going to be some more challenging vocabulary words. And so take a look in the description so that you can follow along the story. Once upon a time in the bustling city of Metropolis, a notorious financial criminal named Victor Sullivan was plotting his next big heist. Victor was known for his cunning mind and audacious schemes that had left law enforcement agencies bewildered. His primary targets were high-security banks, where he would burst in with a team of skilled accomplices to execute his elaborate plans. One sunny morning, Victor received a tip-off from a corrupt insider about a heavily guarded bank that held a valuable collection of rare diamonds. Excitement coursed through his veins and he meticulously planned his strategy. He knew that timing and precision were crucial, and the element of surprise was his greatest ally. Under the cover of darkness, Victor and his team gathered near the targeted bank. With a signal from Victor, they burst in through the back entrance, expertly disabling security systems and swiftly overpowering the startled guards. The burst-in was executed flawlessly, leaving the bank staff and customers in shock. As chaos ensued inside the bank, Victor's team moved swiftly to crack the vault's intricate security system. The tension in the air was palpable as time ticked away. With a burst of relief, the vault finally gave in, revealing the glittering treasure within. Victor's heart raced with anticipation as he grabbed the diamonds, feeling the weight of his ill-gotten fortune. Just as Victor thought he had successfully executed the heist, a sudden burst of alarms, the unexpected arrival of an elite task force specializing in combating financial crimes, disrupted his meticulously planned operation. They burst into the bank, guns drawn, determined to bring Victor and his team to justice. A fierce shout-out ensued, with Victor's team desperately trying to escape the encroaching authorities. In a burst of desperation, Victor made a split-second decision and decided to break off from his team, using a secret escape route that he had prepared in advance. It was a risky move, but he was willing to do anything to evade capture. As he navigated through the city's labyrinth alleyways, Victor knew that he needed to find a safe haven to regroup and lay low. With his notoriety spreading like wildfire, he needed to bring in someone with expertise. He contacted an underground network of forgers who specialized in creating new identities for criminals on the run. With their help, Victor assumed a new identity and appeared into the shadows. But he couldn't shake the adrenaline-fueled rush that came with his life of crime. The taste of stolen diamonds was still fresh in his mind, and he knew he couldn't resist the allure of one more heist. Months later, Victor resurfaced in a different city, craving the thrill that only a financial crime could provide. He carefully studied his next target, a high-profile auction house known for its priceless art collections. Determined to make a grand comeback, he meticulously planned his entry, devising a plan to burst into the auction house and steal a rare masterpiece. The fateful day arrived, and as the auction house buzzed with excitement, Victor burst in disguised as a wealthy collector. With unparalleled confidence, he made his way through the lavish halls, bypassing security measures with calculated precision. However, just as he was about to lay his hands on the prized artwork, he was caught off guard by an unexpected burst of recognition. A seasoned detective, who had been hot on Victor's trail for years, burst into the room. He had been tirelessly investigating Victor's crimes and was determined to finally bring him to justice. In an intense standoff, the detective stared at Victor, his eyes filled with determination, and the burst-in of the detective shattered Victor's hopes of success. Realizing that his luck had finally ran out, Victor knew he had no choice but to surrender. The authorities burst in, surrounding him with handcuffs at the ready. His reign as a financial criminal had come to a dramatic end. As Victor faced the consequences of his actions, he couldn't help but reflect on the thrilling-seeking life that he had led. The burst-ins, the stolen treasures, and the adrenaline rushes had given him a temporary high, but ultimately they had brought him down. He realized that true fulfillment and success lay in walking the path of honesty, integrity, and legal endeavors. And so, Victor's story served as a cautionary tale, reminding others of the perils and consequences that come with engaging in financial crime. It stood as a testament to the tireless efforts of law enforcement agencies who burst in to protect society from those who sought to exploit its vulnerabilities. Alright, so there is our story about our thief, Victor, and how he led a life of financial crimes. So there we have it. Now, what I want you to do now is think about how is burst in being used in this story. You might have to go back to the story to kind of reflect on it a little bit more or deeper, but really take into consideration how is it being used in, what kind of visual does it give you, because that is what's going to make you remember it better, retain it better, so that when you are speaking casual English, you know how to use it. Now, if you are wondering how to get to an advanced level of English, I have created the perfect free document for you. It is my roadmap to advanced English. It goes through all of the little details you need to have to successfully be able to speak advanced English that fits your lifestyle. So if you want that document, it's just in the first link down below. Now, let's go on to the next phrasal verb story. Just over here, click this link right here.